Wang Zhi Yi, the number 2 seed. This is the women's singles draw. What a semi-final in store tomorrow. An Se-young against Akane Yamaguchi. Now, Han Yue has got through to the semi-finals because Chen Yufei has withdrawn. We think an ankle injury, but that's a great pity because the way she was playing, it was all set up for a potentially huge match on Sunday, maybe against An Se-young, but she's not going to be here. So Han Yue gets a walkover into the semis. She'll play the winner of our upcoming quarter-final. So players on court, and interesting actually, looking at the head-to-head between these two. Wang Zhi Yi leads by 3-2. You'd probably expect her to be ahead, but she did actually lose the last meeting. It's in the China Masters, relatively recently, last November.
I have red and black. What do you just say?
Wang Zhi Yi had won the previous 3, but there's nothing like having won the most recent meeting, Bobby, to give you a little bit of a confidence boost, because you know, I did it then, I can do it again.
Yeah, it's a strange result for me. Those 4 meetings you mentioned were all last year, so pretty quick, and a couple of them were relatively comfortable wins for Wang Zhi Yi. I'm just surprised at the levels that you expect them to be at. Some of the tournaments that Wang Zhi Yi's played and won, her ranking, her number of finals, that she would be threatened by a player like Gao Fang Jie, but she is. And part of me puts it down to the fact that Gao Fang Jie at 26 is 1 year older than Wang Zhi Yi, and they're from a similar area, and I wonder whether they came up through the juniors together, and Gao being a year older, perhaps she's always had that mental edge. Maybe.
Oh, she had a great win against the young Japanese, the 7th seed, Tomoka Miyazaki, in the 2nd round. 21-10 in the 3rd. But Wang Zhi Yi, we know, is an absolute class act. She's 2 in the world, she's seeded 2 here. Double Asian champion. 9 World Tour titles she's won since 2019, including 5 last year. It was a magnificent 12 months for her. She won a Super 1000 event, that was the China Open. And this year, well, she's lost in a couple of Super 1000 finals, one in Malaysia, one in Birmingham, but she won the Super 500 Malaysia Masters a fortnight ago, and then she lost in the final to Chen Yufei in Singapore last weekend. Never won this trophy, but she has been a finalist here a few years back. Kirsty Gilmore took her to 3 games yesterday, the Scot. Pamaro Ilaya of Indonesia is the umpire, and Mohamed Hatta will assist as the service judge.
Yes, Wang Zhi Yi
Ready to play?
has won 4 Super 1000s and the World Tour finals. So much like we talked about for Bacon Lee earlier in the women's doubles, this young lady is not afraid. She is very capable and has shown she can do it on some of the highest stages in the sport. And where she seems to fall down is A, against Chen Yufei, and B, against teammates, or when she plays in China. I think there's a bit of a mental block when she's playing against Chinese teammates, especially in front of her home crowd. But I think in front of the Indonesian crowd, I've still got confidence that Wang Zhi Yi is the heavy favourite.
Well, maybe a glimmer of hope there for Gao, not just that
Ready?
she beats Wang Zhi Yi
Ladies
last time
and
they played, but
gentlemen,
also, as you say,
on my right,
not the greatest
Wang
record against
Zhi
fellow
Yi,
countrywomen.
China. And on my left, Gao Fang Jie, China. Wang Zhi Yi to serve, love all, play.
So here we go, women's quarter-final.
love.
I commentated on a couple of Wang Zhi Yi's matches last week in Singapore, and I thought she showed a really steely-eyed determination, just not quite good enough to beat Chen Yufei in the final, but she had an excellent win over Yamaguchi.
Yeah, she's of the very same mould as Chen Yufei, isn't she? Not just in appearance, but in that style of play. She is hard to break down, very consistent, doesn't take an awful lot of risks, and when she does, they are calculated.
That is an extremely well-judged lead by Gao.
Challenges all out.
Being challenged, I think Gao got this right, but it was pretty adjacent. I think this is an excellent piece of judgment, but Hawkeye will confirm. It was actually quite a late decision to leave it.
Wang Zhi Yi there putting on some sort of wrist strapping taping as well early on in the match. That's hopefully not a worrying sign.
One talent remaining.
Well, we certainly don't need another
2,
Chinese withdrawal
1.
after Chen Yufei earlier.
That is over. 2, 3.
Such a smooth mover around the court, Wang Zhi Yi. Strong legs and kept, or rather keeps her balance so well, even when she's late. It's a picture-perfect rally.
4, 3.
Biding her time to use the smash until Gao is still recovering to get to base.
It's a very subtle and clever touch from Gao.
4-all.
I think that was in by quite a big margin. Or was it called out? I thought initially both the line judges called it in. Maybe not.
Close enough to get Hawkeye involved.
Well, maybe one of them changed their mind because they both initially signalled it was in. This replay is going to be very interesting, or this Hawkeye. making them wait.
Well, it must be close, Trevor, surely.
No, just long.
Challenge unsuccessful.
Take it all back.
Challenge
Excellent
remaining.
judgment.
Service over. 5-4.
Just the initial signals from the line judges were a tad confusing. Anyhow, Wang Zhi Yi back in front narrowly. Touch the racket.
Terrific. Might have just snuck past the line had she not touched it, but it was close enough to force the effort from Gao. And it's always so far Wang Zhi Yi who's the umpire trying to speed them up, I think. Who's been the sort of aggressor. She's the one that seems to have the time under the shuttle or behind the shuttle, and Gao is always on the run. That's what I'm looking at, and whilst it doesn't look to be too much in it, I haven't seen Gao waiting in the rear court beneath the shuttle, for example. Great net shot.
Did well to deal with it though, Gao, but that's just the wrong side. She wants another look.
I liked this one. I thought she caught the line, but I've been wrong most of the week.
I thought it was wide. We will see. Hawkeye working overtime at the moment. Not before time. You're right. Got a big piece of a line, actually.
Correction in.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
I think that's 1-1 now.
Service over. 5-6.
Good use of the challenge, though, from Gao. I think it's important from her point of view. She stays with Wang Zhi Yi. Need scoreboard pressure early, and Wang Zhi Yi is a very good front runner. Doesn't normally give it away.
Brilliant.
Yeah, super placement.
Great little deception, very subtle, but enough to bring Wang into the net and then send her the wrong way.
Came to prominence back in 2017, Gao's a teenager. She beat Nozomi, Sindhu, Marin in one tournament when she was 19. Probably playing shots like that.
7-6.
Just one Super 300 victory. That was the Macau Open last year, and you kind of think maybe she should have won more.
Yeah, I remember that. She beat the Japanese in the final.
But one Super 300 for a player of her ability, and she's 26 now, I think she might be disappointed with that haul to date.
What was the tournament where she beat Okihara and Marin?
The China Open in 2017.
That's right.
It's a Grand Prix event in those days. Oh, a bit lucky there. She'll take it though.
Service over. 8-7.
That was thumped down the line.
Fabulous shots.
Service over.
Just a touch flat from Gao. Or short, rather. Or both. Either way, terrific smash. Really nice touch, Gao Fang Jie.
9-8.
We certainly wouldn't say that either of them are playing at breakneck speed at the moment. We've just got the moppers on the court.
Thank you.
It's more like it from Wang Zhi Yi.
Service over. 9-all. Service over. 10-9.
Well, not enough fluent best so far, the world number 2, you'd have to say.
Yeah, and a little frustrated with the miss. I mean, she jumped and stamped the ground. Clearly threatened by Gao, although when you just watch the rallies and ignore the scoreboard, I feel like, well, apart from a couple of mistakes, but I feel like Wang ought to be quite far ahead.
Well, as it is, she's 2 points behind. Gao has the advantage at the interval.
Fourth one, 20 seconds. Fourth one, 20 seconds. Eleven, 9. Play.
Good length from there. I do like the way she gets behind the smash, gives the full body rotation.
Over.
Really
10,
nice technique.
11.
And it's all arm as well. Yes, the body's in there, but she doesn't use the shoulder. I don't imagine she's going to suffer with shoulder injuries much because her technique's lovely. Just that little stick smash movement, that fast racket.
Just inside the back line, that was nicely done.
That is a brilliant rally.
11.
Wang Zhi Yi in full control.
Oh, that's gone long. And a look to the heavens for Gao Fang Jie to say, what on earth have I done?
Yeah, lovely net shot to set that up, and misses a pretty easy chance.
Service over. 12-13.
great bit of play at the net.
Another misjudgment from Gao.
Service over, 14-12.
Oh, she had the chance there. Switched her feet looking for that straight lift, and it came. Got away with it, though. I mean, she could have hit hard earlier and put some real pressure on.
No real excuse, though, for Gao for that error. Right in the middle of the tram lines, and she was playing it from pretty much mid-court as well.
I'm spending a lot of time here studying everything about Wang Zhi Yi, trying to work out why she doesn't get the same, or quite the same level of results as Chen Yufei and An Se-young when they're at their best, because technically, for me, Wang Zhi Yi is potentially the best of the three.
Does she have as many aggressive weapons in her arsenal, though, that Chen Yufei has? I'm not sure.
Well, that's the thing. It looks like she could use them, and she decides not to. And also, I'm not sure Wang Zhi Yi's defence is quite as good as the other two. Particularly when she's a bit late moving forwards, trying to pick up a net shot, for example. That's lovely.
That's just hit so cleanly, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. See, it looks like she can do it, but she refuses the chance to hit hard quite often. But in terms of the way she moves and the way she swings her racket, she is picture perfect.
Service over, 14-16.
The only other thing I'd say is, do you think Wang Zhi Yi's got the same killer instinct as Chen Yufei? And I mean it in the nicest possible way. When the pressure's really on. I'm not sure. Yes, she's won a lot of tournaments.
No, well, possibly not, and certainly not as much as An Se-young. Oh, it's a good net.
And I also think, not just because of that shot, but I also think maybe she makes more unforced errors too. Certainly more than Chen Yufei, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Service over, 17-15.
Hit the sideline.
Yes,
Service over,
we're talking about
16-17.
very, very small margins, but
Wipe the court.
that's where I think the defence, when she's having to move quite far and get down, she just doesn't quite seem as quick. Certainly as An Se-young, who's probably the best in the world. And even as Chen Yufei as well.
Play.
It's a lovely shot from Gao. Oh.
Smidge too much angle.
Service over.
Yeah, and wearing
18,
her emotions on her face and in her body language here.
See again, it's just inviting pressure on herself. 19-16, you'd think, yeah, pretty safe. But now, right in the balance again. She's missed a few of these.
Yeah. There's no reason or rhyme for it, just needs to hit the court there. Good net shot, half court lift. This one's dispatched without any problems.
service over. 19-17. Wipe the court, please. Court attendant.
Nice little jump smash as well.
Thank you. Play on.
So can Wang Zhi Yi see it out from here? 19-17. Yeah, that was a lovely shot to the back court.
20.
Not much Gao could do.
10 point, 17.
3 game points then.
That is over. 18-20.
Yeah, really good length again. That shot was quite close to the net.
Well, it wasn't faultless by any means for Wang Zhi Yi, but she does take the opener by 21 points to 18, just about valued for it.
21-18.
And she will be hoping to get the job done in straight games, obviously, against Gao Fang Jie, who flattered at times, but just couldn't quite find the level of consistency required. So, it's going with the seedings and with the world rankings. Wang leads 1 game to 0.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game, love on, play.
Well, 5 previous meetings between these two, and on every occasion that Wang Zhi Yi has taken the opening game, she's gone on to take the match as well. 2 wins for Gao. One of them straight games, their last meeting, in fact, that Trevor mentioned earlier at the China Masters. Round of 16 match last year. And their very first meeting at the Korea Masters semi-final all the way back in 2017. Good signs there for Wang Zhi Yi.
Thank you. Service over, 1 love. Play on. Love. Take.
Came off the net cord.
That is over. 1, 2.
Just to put off the defence. Gao Fang Jie.
Well, she missed a few of those in the first game, but that was nigh on perfect. She didn't have to go anywhere near the line, and she didn't. That landed in.
That is over. 3-2.
I wonder, Trevor, if the news of Chen Yufei's withdrawal from the tournament, which surely would have reached the ears of these two before they came on, will play any part in how they approach the match. Because the bottom half of the draw is already all Chinese. 4 out of the 8 spots. The favourite, and the way she was playing, like you mentioned, Chen Yufei would have been odds-on to get through to the final. And now Han Yue, Gao Fang Jie and Wang Zhi Yi are all rubbing their hands together.
Well, it's certainly more of an open door than it was about an hour ago. Certainly from what we've seen this week, you'd make An Se-young a very heavy favourite to beat Kane Yamaguchi. So it's looking like another Korea versus China in the final, just not necessarily the personnel we expected in a red shot.
That is over. 4-all.
I'll tell you what, I can't remember a match where there have been so many errors of judgment from both players. Gao knew as soon as that landed, there was no point in challenging.
Just been taking a look as well, talking about Chen Yufei and the retirement or the withdrawal. She's only got 10 tournaments on her ranking progress. And most players have got a lot more. Of course, that break she took after the Paris Olympic Games, playing a big part in that. But the 10th one on the list was the Indonesia Open last year, which, of course, she... did she win or get to the final?
She won it.
Therefore, she is guaranteed to lose ranking points from that and have them replaced with a round of 16 result here, and therefore possibly drop down the rankings even further.
Which seems harsh, doesn't it? It does seem harsh. I know there has to be a method, but in these circumstances, you have to feel for her.
Miyazaki and Tung Jung just below her in the rankings with very similar ranking points themselves, and Chen Yufei 6,000 above Tung Jung, so I think she'll lose around 6,000 to 8,000.
Well, let's hope it's just a minor issue and it's not going to inconvenience her for more than a week or so.
Are there any Super Thousands this side of the World Championships?
It was the China Open, presumably.
Yes, of course. Well, that puts more pressure on Chen Yufei to perform at the China Open, because you want as high a possible seeded place for the world. She wants to, for example, avoid An Se-young in her half of the draw. So many little aspects playing on the fact that she's just had to withdraw from this tournament. It's going to go a lot further than just this week. I think I just saw a tiny bit of right to left drift, which we haven't seen all week. It's been left to right for sure.
Interesting.
Gao Fang Jie hit a shot from the far side that was straight down this line, and we're stood right on that line.
That was actually a very good shot from Wang Zhi Yi. It was the harder side to go, side that Gao Fang Jie was covering, but it was right on the line.
That is over. 7-all. Service over. 8-7.
Well, it's one step forward and two back at the moment for the number 2 seed.
It was at this stage in the first as well, a little point for point.
I would categorise it so far as a little bit of a lacklustre performance from the world number 2.
I was going to say that at the end of the first. Didn't
Service over.
quite get the opportunity because of the timing it finished, but I would describe this match so far as all right. It's all right. Neither of them look like world beaters. They look like they're nervous playing each other as teammates.
Yeah, it so often has that effect, doesn't it, when you play someone in the same country. That was another miss. That was in by a long way.
And I think with the absence now of Chen Yufei in this side of the draw, there's a bit more pressure on the result here, and therefore the semi-finals and into the final for one of these, or Han Yue.
Not saying that Wang Zhi Yi couldn't have beaten Chen Yufei, because of course she could, and so could Gao, in theory, but obviously...
I don't think she would have, though, this week. Chen was looking brilliant.
Yeah.
10-9. 9.
Tiny bit short from Gao Fang Jie.
10 all.
And punished by Wang.
Made it.
That is
Oh,
over.
lovely shot.
11-10 interval.
So Gao in front narrowly. Been two tightish games, actually. And I don't think Wang Zhi Yi is completely comfortable out there. And she certainly can't book a semi-final place with any real confidence just yet.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Eleven, 10. Play.
Got that one right, judgment-wise.
That is
Yeah,
over.
the very same shot we
11
saw from Gao
all.
before the interval. The difference probably was it was a brand new shuttle. Strange as it seems, they do come off a tiny bit quicker. The first. Oh, would you look at that?
It almost stayed there, didn't it?
It teased
12,
everybody.
11.
Just sat there.
And which way shall I go? That way.
It's because they're both Chinese. It took a long time to deliberate.
Well, they both saw the funny side of it. Really don't think that Wang Zhi Yi wants to go 3 games with Han Yue looming in the semi-final tomorrow, who obviously had a day off today, getting through by default. But as things are looking, Han Yue will be watching this and probably enjoying it.
Yeah, she will. Especially the amount of errors that are coming out of these two players at the moment. It seems like neither of them can control the length. That shuttle is either a bit quicker than they were playing with, or they're just both tensing up a bit too much adrenaline.
It's amazing though, isn't it? The number of times that matches between players of the same country go the distance. And normally, like Gao Fang Jie is ranked 14 in the world. If Wang Zhi was playing the 13th ranked player, you'd fancy her to win in straight games as the number 2 in the world. But because it's fellow Chinese at the other end of the court, it just doesn't happen in the same fashion.
Just missed.
Service over, 12-15.
Yeah, I've got a... This is purely my theory, and I've got no data to back this up, but I think they grew up in a similar area in China, therefore they would have played together a lot as juniors, and Gao, being just 1 year older, would have probably had the upper hand when they were very young. And I think that kind of thing plays in the mind of players moving forwards into their careers. It shouldn't, but it's difficult to shake it off. Again, you watch the match without looking at the scoreboard, and I would assume due to Wang Zhi Yi's technical ability and almost perfect footwork, she'd be well ahead. And it's just not the case.
Well, she's made a boatload of errors. That's the first thing.
Well, she has, and in saying that, Gao Fang Jie looked really good in that rally. So credit to her for taking some of these opportunities.
Play on.
A look to the heavens
14,
from Gao.
16.
There's a lot going on in the heads of these two, isn't there? You just get that sense.
Yeah, and more pressure on Gao Fang Jie in the latter stages of this game if it stays close. So obviously she can't afford to lose it. That's a nice shot, though. Seriously, I think she's looked the better player in this game.
14.
No question. Certainly made fewer errors.
Lovely little hold. Tiniest deception again, and enough to get the better of Wang. Well, touche. It's a very similar looking shot.
15-17. Play now.
Well, that was a pity from Gao's point of view, because I thought she looked the more purposeful player in that rally.
16-17.
Certainly had Wang Zhi Yi working very, very hard. And in the end, it was a bit of a soft giveaway.
Play on.
Oh, just got a racket to that shot. It nearly went over the top. I think that's gone wide.
Another basic mistake. Gao goes favourite now at 18-16.
16. Ready?
Love to see the stats on winners in this game and unforced errors. I think Gao would be certainly ahead on winners, and Wang has made so many errors.
Yes, she has. I also want to see a bit more aggression at times from Wang in the pace of the shuttle. It feels to me like she's trying to play this perfect long rally style at times. Now and again you see her explode off and hit a cross-slash winner, but it's very few. And for me, not enough. Especially if she's making errors. I think she's got to go for it here.
Well, it's another mistake. It's a present. And here are 4 game points for Gao to level this match.
16. Service over. 17.
Well, if they watch
20.
this back, they'll be cringing at the amount of times they missed the court. Yeah, it's well played by Wang. Good rally from Wang Zhi Yi.
Netted her to death, basically.
Yeah, but even before that, the way she was using the deep rear corner of Gao Fang Jie, and the shot quality this time was top draw.
Question is, has she left it too late? There's still 2 game points for the world number 14.
Well, based on what we've seen for the last
Thank you.
10 or 15 minutes, I think yes. Keeping that level of consistency with good shots, she just hasn't been able to do it for the entire game.
Yeah, you could just kind of smell a mistake coming around the corner, can't you? See whether she can prove us wrong. That's nice touch. So 3 saved, 1 to go, and now pressure on Gao Fang Jie.
Well, interestingly, a change of tactics here. Standing her ground in the mid-court, going at the body. That long 4 corners game had gone.
Play on.
That's wide. And so all 4 game points saved now by the world number 2.
Well, she has proved us wrong too. Great judgment.
Yeah, and that's another area where she's been a little lacking today. But not that time.
Working hard in defence. Gao Fang Jie playing a nice rally. Oh, it was in.
It's wide. She's challenging.
Well,
I saw that as catching the line again. I got 1 right earlier, so this means I'm definitely going to get this one wrong.
Okay, well, let's see what Hawkeye... What a massive call this is for Hawkeye. No pressure, ladies and gentlemen. They don't feel pressure.
Court attendant, wipe the court.
It's either going to be a game point or a match point. Let's see which one. Called out, remember.
Well, I've got the same line of sight as the line judge that called this, except we are sat 20 or so meters back and high up in the air. So I've got absolutely no right to suggest
watching and waiting, these 2. Here we go, here we go.
Great call.
Talent unsuccessful.
So it is a match point.
1
for
talent remaining.
Wang Zhi Yi.
What a brave leave as well, by the way.
It is out.
Oh, hold on.
You're out. Yeah, it's out. The talent is... No, that is for court 2. This is court 1.
Well, our screen showed it as out.
Yes.
But the giant screen showed something was in. Was there a challenge on another court?
You serve, it's out. So the challenge is unsuccessful.
It was definitely wide.
So, it was wide.
Yeah.
But I think the screen showed something different. Our screen certainly showed it as wide.
Yeah, so you can understand why Gao Fang Jie is upset, because she doesn't know what's gone out to the TV viewers, but it was definitely wide. She's got a sense of injustice, but it's... And probably now, Wang Zhi Yi feels bad in case a mistake's been made.
I'm trying to work out what on earth Gao Fang Jie was watching on the main screen, because we saw the replay clearly on the television and on what everybody else at home would have seen, which was out.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that they put up a different image. Match point then.
Yeah, I think there was a challenge on court 2 at the same time, and that was what was on the big screen at the time.
That's out as well.
That is over. 21 all.
Great work from Gao Fang Jie.
Way too much on that, though.
Yeah, she was picking Wang Zhi Yi apart.
That is over.
And
22,
again, length
21.
in particular, these two have really struggled today.
Play on. Game.
Well, she managed to get herself out of a big hole there, saved 4 game points, and then got through. And I think they're going to have a long chat about that Hawkeye, but we can confirm it was definitely the right decision. There was another Hawkeye at the same time on the other court, and that's what confused the issue. So the correct decision was made, but I think Wang Zhi is going to have to play a lot better, Bob, if she wants to win this tournament.
I completely agree with that last statement. I'm not convinced today.
21.
Technically gifted. She looks like a textbook badminton player, and I don't know how people break her down, and yet she gets beat in defence, and she makes too many errors for me to really challenge the top couple of players in the world.
So she wins 21-18, 23-21. It was a bit of a struggle, but she's in the semis. 5 more live matches to come. Jill Clark coming in with Steen Pedersen. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Istora Senayan. It is quarterfinals day here at the Indonesia Open, one of the 4 Super 1000 events on the HSBC BWF World Tour. Well, next up we've got women's doubles.